This is never good enough. This is all your fault. The words I can never seem to forget, even though it's been years since I last heard it from my parents. I was always criticized by my family no matter what I did, no matter the achievements I've made, and for every mistake I've done, whether big or small, I would get beaten up. Nobody knew about this, not even my close friends. I was too scared to speak up when I was younger because I was only a kid. I didn't know what would happen if I spoke up. I just got home. Here are my results.
This is not good enough. You should try harder. Now go do the chores because I'm really tired.
Did you just break my favorite mug? How stupid can you be? You're so useless. What?
Hello? We know you're in there. It's us, your loving parents. Don't you miss us?
Yeah, don't you miss us?
Come inside.
So we know that you are very successful now and that you have a stable job. We were wondering if we can have around $2,000 per month since you know that your dad already retired.
Yeah, 2,000 per month is enough. Think of it as compensation for the time we've lost in those 10 years.
$2,000. That's a lot of money.
It really shouldn't be a problem because we know your husband makes good money and he can support you. So I don't think there'll be any problem with the money.
I have a kid to support too. I am a grown woman who has her own responsibilities, and it does not include you both. I know this is way too good to be true. You guys always think about yourselves and never about me, even after 10 years. What happened to all the money that you saved up for? If it wasn't for money, you guys wouldn't even show your face to me. You guys never cared about me or my well-being. 10 years later, my parents came back looking for me. Or should I say money. When I opened the door for them, I expected a change. But of course, they never did. They're still the same people I knew from 10 years ago. I'm glad that with my family, with my husband and kid supporting me, I finally know how to stand up for myself and not to give in to my parents anymore for the first time.
Child abuse can be categorized into four. The first one being physical abuse or physical assault. This involves inflicting injuries towards the child. This usually involves excessive hitting or beating, hair pulling, and excessive caning. This is one of the most common known among society alongside the second category, which is sexual abuse. Sexual abuse or sexual assault, in this context, can be defined as any form of intercourse or inappropriate touching or fondling of a child's private part. The last two, less common form of abuses, but may probably be the most common child abuse, are emotional abuse and neglect. Emotional abuse causes severe damage towards a child's self-esteem and mental health, which is usually caused by ignoring the child's need for love, warmth, and security. Neglect, on the other hand, occurs when parents do not provide the necessities of a child, such as sustenance, a show of concern, or even affection for the child. Despite the last two being less common in terms of knowledge, the damage it does towards the child is very much severe and everlasting.
There are five known roots to child abuse. First, lack of parenting skills. Some parents may find it acceptable to use excessive physical force to educate their children to compensate for the lack of knowledge on proper child care skills. This almost always leads to continuous physical abuse towards the child. The next cause is related to the parent's childhood experience. If a parent was exposed to a form of abuse when they were a child, they have a high probability to inflict the same treatment towards their child. This shows that when uneducated, child abuse can become a vicious cycle from generation to generation. Another factor that commonly leads to child abuse is alcohol, drug abuse, as well as gambling problems. When parents get addicted to at least one of the three, it impacts their ability to properly care for the child, and if prolonged, will highly likely abuse the child because the child becomes an obstacle between his or her addiction. Studies have shown that mental issues such as depression and anxiety have led to the abuse of their child. Having an unstable mental state, certain responsibilities become very troublesome, and due to the lack of mental health, parents suffering such illness may result in abuse to handle the responsibility. The final factor known to child abuse is stress-related events. Financial issues, mortgage, unemployment, as well as medical issues have led parents to usually neglect their children excessively to handle the stressful situation. While their intentions are most likely to regain a stable life for the family, their children suffer due to the lack of knowledge on how to handle such situations properly.
There are various signs of child abuse for each type of child abuse. When it comes to physical abuse, bruises on the body is one of the clearest signs. Broken bones, open wounds, cuts, or punches are also clear signs of physical abuse. For sexual abuse, physical signs are also similar with the physical abuse, except that the bruises are mostly found around the breast or genital area. Other signs include unexplained genital infection as well as unexplained vagina or anal bleeding. When it comes to emotional abuse, there are rarely any physical signs that come with it. However, there are psychological signs that make it easier to identify emotional abuse. Some of them being if the victim is being extremely withdrawn and non-communicative or non-responsive, as well as being anxious around certain people, usually the abuser. As for neglection, the signs are dehydration, malnutrition, and poor personal hygiene alongside unattended or untreated health problems and unsanitary living conditions such as fleas or lice on the victim. One of the most distinct signs for all types of abuse is when the victim reports of being mistreated.
Despite the seriousness of child abuse, there are numerous ways to prevent these actions. The responsibility of prevention not only falls onto the parents itself, but also towards neighbors, schools, and society. Being a parent isn't easy, hence offering a helping hand in taking care of the children could both educate them on how to care for their child properly, as well as prevent abuse over unnecessary minor household problems. For the parents themselves, if life problems start to pile out and you feel extremely overwhelmed and out of control, take some time off or time out to relax and rationalize rather than taking it out on your children. As for schools, educating children, parents, and teachers regarding prevention strategies can further increase the understanding and the importance of keeping children safe and raising them responsibly. If there are local community libraries within an area, providing parenting resources to help local parents to understand how to be a better and more responsible parent and guardian to their children. It is the responsibility of everyone to prevent child abuse from happening and prolonging in the society and generation, and to especially report suspected abuse if there are reasons to believe that a child has been or is still being abused by calling your local authorities, children's center, and family services.